guys, and welcome to Filmartsy, your #1 source for all things films and movies. And it looks like we have yet another update regarding a pretty big movie that was expected to release this year, earlier this year, of course, with Wonder Woman 1984, also known as Wonder Woman 2, the much anticipated sequel to the first Wonder Woman movie. And it does look like this movie will also, in fact, end up being delayed. However, with this movie getting a delay, it does actually shed a little bit of light of what at least the film industry is thinking things are going to look like for the future, and might give us some insight as to what other movie studios are going to do. So there actually might be some positive news coming out of this story. Let's go ahead and take a closer look. Now, if you guys didn't already know, this movie was set to release in June of 2020, and Warner Brothers is deciding to push the film back just until an August 2020 release. They really aren't wanting to push this movie any further back, and they're still kind of setting up a time where they're anticipating to put this film out there. Now, this is actually quite different from any of the other films that we have seen in the film industry getting delayed to, with other movies like the new James Bond movie getting delayed all the way to November. We have Fast and Furious getting a full 1 year delay, and it's really interesting to say nonetheless that this is one of the shortest delays out of any of the other delays coming from the film industry. If this is only going to be looking at a 2-month delay, perhaps the movie industry as a whole is going to make a bigger attempt to bounce back after everyone has kind of been staying away from movie theaters by at least the end of summer. Now, it also must be said that Warner Brothers was probably banking very hard on Wonder Woman being their summer blockbuster, so it getting pushed back is definitely going to be somewhat of a concern for how it can perform financially, but it's still interesting nonetheless to point that out. Now, if we remember all the way back to when we first even heard about movies catching these delays, it was really interesting because it just took one movie to kind of set the standard for what everyone else was doing. James Bond was the first one delayed, and all these other movies kind of fell in suit over the next couple of weeks afterwards. So perhaps this might be the first step, and while it still is another delay, but maybe it's the first step in kind of seeing a change in what we're going to be seeing from the film industry and what we're going to be seeing across the globe, as many different countries are trying to make the best decisions as what to do to bring things at least somewhat back to normal moving forward. We're also seeing reports that in China there is going to be a release of many blockbuster films from the past decade being put into several hundred theaters out there in attempts to bring audiences back to going to the movie theaters on a regular basis. We're going to be seeing the re-releases of the entire Avengers series of movies, the 4 main Avengers movies. There's other movies hitting theaters, like Avatar will be making a return into theaters. So it is really interesting to see that also, and see kind of something happening in the movie industry, and seeing some sort of release schedule, some sort of plan to just kind of get things going back to normal at one point in the future. Now, of course, there's obviously talks amongst everyone from the regular average person to the people all the way up in the executive positions, having to make the decision as to when the best time to start doing these types of things are, when to start putting things back out there and having people go out again. And that's where it gets a little bit more complicated. There's various opinions across the board. So we'd really like to kind of open the conversation up wherever you are in the world. What are your opinions on all of this type of stuff? And when do you think things like this should start being planned out again? Is this too soon? Is it too late? We're honestly kind of in this big question time where we really don't even know what the right answers are yet. So having these conversations are something that we think are really important to have, and interesting to see different insight from different people. But that is it for today. If you guys want to stay up to date with everything kind of going on in the film industry, especially when it comes to comic book movies like the Marvel Cinematic Universe or the DCEU, anything like that, be sure you guys are subscribed here at Filmartsy with notifications on. We of course upload brand new videos every single day of the week, so you're really not going to want to miss anything that we upload next. Thank you guys all on behalf of everyone at Filmartsy for the continued support over all of this time, and we will see you guys all next time with a brand new video. Bye guys.
I'm about to.
Hi everybody.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Hi.
Hi. See you guys.